Hello, Guru Brando here. This is episode number 8 of Positively Entertaining Conversations. We are going to talk about a viewer question, statement, opinion, whatever you want to call it. A viewer had a submission. So we're going to be talking about that. It should be interesting, so stay tuned for a lot of talk about duality and gender roles and all of those wonderful things that make us who we are. Join us now.
Shut up and sit down.
Good evening, fellow viewers. The soda is cold, the popcorn is hot. Are you ready to see the sexiest man alive? The bearded charmer. It is time to watch the one, the only, the Guru Brando Show!
Hello, this is Guru Brando with Positively Entertaining Conversations, and I have a sometimes curious guest with me, Beth.
Hello.
Okay, so today I think we're going to talk about this viewer question, comment thing. And so I'm going to read it, and we're going to address it. So, how does one know about what your role are in life as male or female? There are tomboys, females with male brain, so to speak, or men with female mindset. Maybe, I don't know, just a thought. I may be completely wrong. Can you live without officially moving to what you actually feel like? I'll answer these really quickly. How does one know what your role is in life, male or female? Well, you can either go by your assigned biological sex that says this is who I am and this is who my family accepts me as and this is who they're raising me as, or you can say I don't conform to societal roles, gender roles. I am going to live a role that was not assigned to me, and that's just point blank because gender roles are assigned by society. You get to define your own. So to answer that question, that's how you know. You choose. Do you want to be male or female based on how you feel internally? Beth.
Yes.
What did you call yourself growing up in your own mind? How did you tear yourself down? You said that you were, a weak man, or etc., etc.
How I sort of viewed myself.
And how was it? That's what I'm saying. What were you actually saying? How were you attacking your masculinity? Or not?
You're never going to measure up. Never going to measure up. That was basically my mantra.
So you're not a good enough what?
At anything. I wasn't, no matter how hard I tried, I didn't feel like I was ever good enough as a soldier. Just kind of felt like ineffective, I guess would be a decent word for it. And I don't know, that was probably part of the storm, of running away from, things I didn't want to deal with. And it all catches up to you. You can't hide from it. You can't run from it. You can try to, and you can even fool yourself into thinking that you're being successful at it, but you are not.
So you were telling yourself that you weren't worth anything.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Anything as a soldier, anything as this, anything as that. But you were defining it as you're nothing as a man.
Yeah.
That's what you were saying.
That messed up anything to, like any potential, relationship I might have, had with anybody, was screwed up because I was so messed up about, who I felt like versus who I felt like I was supposed to be.
Right. Yeah, and I get that, but the listeners don't get that, so we have to explain to the listeners what that is. So for me, that looked like, I thought initially, when I was going through this whole confusion of gender role thing, I thought initially that the role daughter is what made me a girl, because what I heard was my sister was a daughter, and then I was then called the daughter, but my brother was called son. So as soon as I heard daughter with me, that's what set alarm bells off, and that's where I went, wait a minute, no. I don't identify that way. I didn't say that out loud, but in my head, I questioned. The question came up, why am I a daughter, not a son? That was the question that I asked. And do you remember I guess the one that we recorded earlier? I said, whenever you question, then it probably is. If you have to question yourself, or if the question arises, if the universe presents the question to you and you acknowledge it and try to process through it, then you have doubt.
What'll happen is, I guess what happened for me is when I think when I saw it the first time, was, I don't know if it was, I think it was like a news article or something like that, about somebody that was trans, and it was like that first time I saw that truth, that it did exist outside of my own head, and that just made it worse. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, see, for me, I didn't ever think about it. I just knew it existed in the animal world. I knew that in the animal world that there were hermaphrodites. I knew that there were intersex.
Biological anomalies.
Right. I knew that God didn't make mistakes. Because my dad always told me that. God doesn't make mistakes. So I knew somewhere, somehow, it was there. But the problem is, I felt scared. I felt scared because as soon as I reached puberty, shit got real. And I didn't turn into a boy. I was watching for the Adam's apple, and instead I got boobs. That really messed me up. So that was my reality check. My reality check was that I was actually a girl, not a boy. Whereas Beth's reality check was she was really a girl, not a boy. Because for me, I was that boy until I turned into a girl. And then I turned into a girl and I had to embrace it. And it wasn't until I reached 34 that I realized I was only embracing it because I felt like I had to.
Well,
because someone was judging me on it. My parent was judging me and saying, you can't be a boy. You have to be a girl because your body says you're a girl.
It's easy to understand, why that would be, because that's the way they were taught and that's the way they understood it.
And so the funny thing is, neither one of our ways is wrong. We got to choose, and we got to choose because that's how we felt. It's regardless of what role we were given.
It's astounding to me to think about how many lives, were and potential was lost, because, fear,
people don't know that they can choose themselves. Yeah, because we as humans feel like we have to martyr ourselves to every cause. And it's idiotic to think that, because even in every religion it tells you to put first God. You always put God first, and what does God tell you to do first? Or the universe. What does nature tell you to do first? Take care of yourself. Yeah, because you can't love someone if you don't love yourself. You can't care for someone if you don't care for yourself. You can't support someone if you don't support yourself. If you don't have enough energy to go around, then you can't possibly have enough energy to just give away for free. So stop giving it away for free to other people. That's basically it. What gender role do you want? Because that's the one you get. It doesn't matter if you call yourself a tomboy or if you call yourself a Nancy girl or whatever you call yourself. You get to call yourself that. I am Mappa. You are Mom. So our gender roles are pretty clear. If you just look at the name, my title holds a double crown. I've earned that shit, and I will wear it like a badge of courage. You, however, are insecure about how you were as a father.
Oh, yeah.
Because you weren't a very good father. I'm going to put that out there. And not because you were abusive, but you were neglectful as a father. And that's because that was learned behavior.
That was a very disconnected individual.
Yes. But it's because you learned that that's the kind of dad you need to be. Because that's the example you were shown. You were a disassociated dad. Just like yours.
Yeah.
And so, the luck of the draw is that we got to choose each other. because we knew early on that our roles were not that of typical society, because we identified that in each other right away. We said, you know what? I don't really conform. Yeah, I don't conform either. Okay, cool. Let's be friends.
Yeah, it seemed like to come so easy for other people. It's like, I don't get it. How is it so easy for you to just be?
Because guess what? You're coveting them. You're not looking at how far they've walked. You don't know. You only got to see what they allowed you. To our viewers here, they don't know the struggles we've been through till we tell them.
Yeah.
Not a clue. So see, our viewers, our listeners may be saying, hey, holy cow, they were able to do this no problem. They went 1, 2, 3, 4. You're about to legally have your name changed.
Yeah, what about?
Super easy for
What's
everybody who hears that, right?
22nd?
20.
No,
yeah,
what's
today's
today?
the 22nd.
3
so
days.
Yeah. So, but to everybody else, they have no idea what hoops you had to jump through. And they don't know how yours was different than mine. Yours was paperwork and money. Mine was lawyers, court, denials, requests.
That's the difference between
Appeals.
Texas and Illinois.
It is. But, you know what? I got to set a precedent and you didn't. Yeah,
I don't want to.
I know. But
I want it to be easy. Because I know it's not for everybody, but I am not taking it for granted either. I mean, every day
But
I'm like,
you did.
I'm lucky.
you did
I'm
for
very
a while.
lucky.
You took for granted how easy it was because you were looking at me and being angry at how easy it was for me and you couldn't do it. It's so easy for you to transition. It's so easy. You can just do what you want, but I can't because you were a victim at that time. You know?
That was with a lot of things. So a lot of things I was like, it's okay for them. It's just not okay for me.
Yeah, because that means that you felt either like you didn't deserve it or others didn't deserve it. But either way, if you feel like you don't deserve it, you're also saying that others don't deserve it. That's the irony of it. You're claiming that you felt like it was good for everybody but you. But really, if you didn't feel like it was good for you, you also felt like others didn't deserve it too. That's what judgment is. If you're judging yourself, you're judging others. And that's fact.
Definitely seen groups of people work different rates and achieve different qualities of the same goal and all get the same prize.
Yeah. But you know what? That's a distorted view. Because you've heard, religion says God helps those who help themselves. So are you going to sit there on the roof as the flood fills the house and wait for the rain to stop? Or are you going to get in the boat? Are you going to sit there and pray and scream to the universe or to God to stop the rain, turn off the faucet, and bring out a rainbow? Are you going to wait for that? Or are you going to say, oh my gosh, God's given me this wonderful opportunity of a helicopter or a raft?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're going to seize life and you're going to say, you know what? I want to survive. What switches you from survival to thriving when it comes to gender roles? How do you decide that the gender role you're in is not working for you? What was our red flag?
Oh, gosh. I think it was, for me it got to the point where the thought of my death was more appealing than carrying on my life.
Mm-hmm. Usually we're like, I can't survive this anymore. I'm done, right? Yeah. And that's when you go, oh, what am I doing that could be failing me? So when you said that, when you said, what could I be doing that I'm failing at? It was what?
It was basically failing to live my life. I was living life under other expectations.
Yeah.
Instead of my own.
Mm-hmm. And your own expectations said you need to embrace who you are because who you are is not bad.
I feel a much happier person, and the children seem to be a lot happier.
Yeah, who cares what the children think? They're crazy anyway. The whole lot of them. I'm teasing. Well, so I'm going to tell you what notes I took surrounding this, okay? Because I really thought about this question, and this is what I said. Gender roles are assigned by society. You typically know what your role is from your environment. So if you're in an environment that has stereotypical gender roles, you're probably going to know that that's your place. Typically, your family religion dictates the expected role of man and woman. If you choose to follow a religious doctrine, understand that it is still written, interpreted, and used by man to use in civilized society. So it's the rules of civilized society this religion is. So we're all born with our potential stored up, and one day you say, I am not happy. When you figure out why, then you unlock your potential, because humankind has the potential to learn, choose, change, to thrive and evolve. And that's what we're talking about, because surviving says, I can deal with this situation. I could probably live the rest of my life like this. You said that repeatedly. And I looked square at you. I looked square at you and I said, but I can't. I can't live this BS life that you're living, because you're telling me every single day to not call you wife when that's the way we behave.
Yeah.
You're every day telling me when I leave this house that I have to declare that you are my husband, that you are a man, and that I am attracted to men, when that was not the case. Because I was choosing to be with you as a woman in my mind, in your mind, all the time. And it was horrible to try to because you put off the feminine energy, but yet you had a masculine facade, and it did not translate.
I was miserable all the time.
Yeah. You were ugly. You were ugly and you were wrong. Well, you're ugly and you're mad. That's what I mean. You walked around with bitch face constantly.
This is weird.
It's horrible.
Up until the point that I guess it would be a couple of years, after I started transition, was I understood happiness to be compartmentalized. I was happy about things, but I was never happy with myself.
I know, until I taught you holism.
I was happy with my house, or I was happy with my car, I was happy with my friends. And
you were happy with your ego, because all of those are ego, and Leos are egomaniacs.
Well, it's easy
at their worst.
It's easy to focus on the outward when you don't want to look inward.
Yeah, but it's still ultimately a choice.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing. You, for a while, were just being a crybaby Nancy, and you decided to woman up. Just like for a long time, I was being a crybaby Nancy, and I decided to man up. But regardless of what it is, we chose. And so it's empowerment. So it's the day that you say, I am, and you answer it. And you answer it either negative or positive, it's going to tell you where you are. Right? You can't sit there and go, I am, and not finish that. Because you can say, I am hungry, I am thirsty, I am tired, I am woman, I am man, I am bored, I am soft, I am hard, I am... You have so many senses. You can even say, I am smelling. You can either be smelling here, or you can be exuding odor. But regardless, if you say, I am, your brain's going to come up with a way to answer that, isn't it? And so if you are feeling like you are feminine that day and you sit down, you'll be going, I am beautiful, I am feminine, I am light. But interesting, if you look at duality, you look at feminine energy and you look at masculine energy, yin and yang, then you can say, I am I cold or am I hot? Yin is cold, yang is hot. You can answer a lot of questions for yourself and your duality if you just look at yin and yang list. And then if you circle more on the feminine side and you're questioning, does this make me trans? Answer it yourself. Do you want to be a woman? Are you a woman? That's two separate questions. You can decide you want to be a woman and play that gender role. You can express yourself as a woman. It doesn't mean that you're going to transition. It means that you are trans, but not necessarily a transsexual. Yeah. You can just cross-dress.
The spectrum.
Yeah, but in the moment that you say, I identify myself as a woman, then you are, darling. And if you are asking yourself if you are a woman, odds are you are. If you're asking yourself if you're a man.
Yeah, if you have to go into those deep existential levels to answer it.
Yeah, because what we talk about is identity, expression, biological sex, and sexual orientation, romantically and sexually. So
I think, we all spend a great deal of time trying to talk ourselves out of it, because it's not something that we all want to face.
Yeah, 100%. So I say here, let me finish that. It means, all right, so the potential we all have at worst is to survive, and at best is to thrive. So if you think about humanity as potential, you think about all of us has the potential to be whatever the hell we want to be, right? We can identify and we can say, I am this. You can say, I am an astronaut, but it doesn't make it true, right? But you can make it true how?
By studying to be an astronaut and training to be an astronaut.
By thriving, not surviving. By not just by saying this is who I can see I can be. That's trying.
You do the work.
Yeah, you gotta put in the work, and so that means that you have to thrive. So you figure out what you desire and then what it takes to achieve it.
In that context, with school, I'm a very good writer. I'm a very bad format and editor. Very bad at that.
Yeah. And so what you do to thrive is you hire an editor for your own stuff, right? You know that you're not going to edit your own stuff properly. So you hire an editor when you edit your book, not when you edit your schoolwork, but when you edit your book, right?
Yeah.
And what you're doing right now is actually learning how to be a better editor. So you don't always have to outsource, but it's available.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, you know what? I deserve to hire somebody. I deserve that because I have not put in the work. Right?
Yeah.
I deserve this. I deserve this.
Format editing is not for me.
Okay, so what you regret not being or doing, then you nail that down, and that's what you do. So whatever you regretted at one point not being a makeup artist, and now you do makeup on yourself, but nonetheless.
Yeah, I get to dabble in it now, and I've already started going, looking at, okay, how far can I take this?
Which I knew that's what you would do about 3 years ago. But whatever. What do I know? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you wish to live as a different role from the norm, then you have to change the society you're in or the rules, right? So either you move out of the society that you're in that's not accepting, or you advocate for progression. Because if you're saying your rules are outdated, you have to make sure that those boundaries are not crossing their boundaries. That's the important thing. So you can declare all you want that you're an astronaut, but unless you have the skill, you're not. So guess what? That does not make you genuine. That makes you delusional. It means that that's your reality. Even if it's not hurting anyone, it's still not fact.
Yeah, that's the big conundrum when it comes to dealing with whether you are or not trans. Are you or are you not delusional?
So if you are hurting yourself or hurting others, it's wrong. If what you're choosing to do is crossing the boundaries of others, in other words, if we excluded other people and said, what we're doing, you can't do because it's only for us, then that would be a boundary that shouldn't be there. That'd be wrong. It would be wrong for us to set a boundary in society, period, that only benefited us. Because the one rule of humankind, of humanity, is love and acceptance. We must have love and acceptance for others because it means we have love and acceptance for ourselves. And if you are declaring that you are trans and you are 100% comfortable with who you are, you have your duality, then you're not judging others on theirs. That's fact. Mm-hmm. Because you have to be accepting, right? Yep. If you're accepting yourself, you're accepting others. So if you're judging yourself, you're judging others.
Yeah, I've actually, sometimes when I have a few minutes that I'm taking a little brain break at school, I'll look at some kind of trans news or something like that, and it's interesting that most of the trans women that I've seen that have done any sort of podcast or anything like that, or any sort of video, they're just like, I don't care about my voice. I'm just going to carry on like I am because that's why. And I'm like, hey, cool. Maybe I shouldn't, have to feel so bad about my own voice.
You shouldn't have to feel so bad about it unless it's affecting others. If it is affecting you personally, because when you hear it, you behave a certain way, you need to change it.
Yeah.
If it's affecting others because they hear it and it's affecting you, not them, they have a choice. They can leave. But if they're watching it harm you, then it's their job to speak up and say, this is harming you, right? But if it's not, they can get over it or get under it.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
And, and that's a hard lesson for a lot of us to learn, is to let go of that control.
Yeah, you get to choose whether or not you change your voice or your attitude.
And the control of what other people are going to think. Who
But
cares?
ultimately, if you decide who cares, you better be prepared for who does.
Yeah.
Because there's always a consequence to a boundary. You're going to exclude people and include others if you have a boundary that's set too high, right?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, I don't care if other people are triggered by my voice. I'm happy with it. And that's not true.
I don't know how do you, accept yourself without sounding like a jerk?
It's simple. You say, this is who I choose to be, and if you don't like it, you can leave.
That's basically how it started. When my transition started, like,
that is
I love all my
literally
friends,
it.
but if you can't deal with this, it's okay. I don't fault you.
Yeah, and you absolutely can't fault them, because whatever you're telling your friends, you're actually telling yourself. And if you can't take your own advice, then your advice is shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So if you are telling other people, oh my gosh, your voice sounds so awful, I don't want to sound that way, you're telling yourself you sound that way. That's you.
Yeah.
That's nobody else. That's you. And if you declare it to be your father's voice or your mother's voice or your auntie's voice, then that's what you're putting on it. It's not what others are, but that's what you're going to project. You're going to use the same language, the same tone, because you're identifying with that person. You're going to channel their energy.
Yeah, I haven't. My voice is still in a state of flux. I haven't really decided which direction I'm going to go with it yet. I have, tried a few things out, and I'll probably focus more heavy on it when I'm not distracted by other things, like, the excitement of this name change coming up.
Oh. Well, that would be a good marking point for you. Start marking your progress on the day that you get your name change and go, you know what, this is the day that I decided to match my voice with my name. What does Elizabeth sound like to you? And then build your character. That's what it is. Your voice is your character, and people change their voices every day to fit their mood.
Yeah, and impressionists can do all kinds of voices. So
Yeah.
It's not difficult. I even
So
have
you
my
just
own range
get-
of voices that
Yeah.
I can do.
You get it. It would be exciting for you to get to pick your voice that doesn't sound like you're known.
Yeah, right?
So it should fulfill you to do that. All right. So if you are feeling like you're oppressed in your society or in your religion, what would you do? Because you lived it and so did I. So what would you do in the moment that you felt oppressed? You would conform.
Yeah. Especially in the eyes of the religious, constructs we've grown up in.
So what makes you stop conforming? When do you get the wake-up call?
It's kind of like an analogy I used in school recently.
Holy
was,
crap, we have to hurry.
Yeah. The people that don't want to wake up, they're happy with being spoon-fed macaroni and cheese every single day. But then eventually you might open your eyes and be like, I'm sick of macaroni and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking sick of it. Oh, I'm really sick of it.
You'd have to
You could put a beep.
I'm not editing out.
You can put a
You're
beep in
naughty.
there.
No beep. No beep, it'll stand. Okay, so the whole point is you choose your own role based on whatever value you have. So if you value religion over family and your religion says that your role can't exist, then it's not going to. Okay. Now, Always seek collaborative efforts with the majority to see if you're delusional or not. And that's what you did. You went to a professional and you said, am I delusional? This is what I feel. And they're like, why are you asking me? You know.
Yep, that's exactly.
And that's exactly what I told you they would say.
Doctor, I'm sure. I don't know. Are you?
Because we get to decide. We get to decide. So, gender roles are defined by us because we count as society. We make up our own rules. That is our gender expression. So, gender roles are gender expression, and that is independent from biological sex. What organs we're born with, what our sexual preference lines up with, that's all separate from gender role expression. And that's separate from how we identify. Because I can identify as a man and dress like a woman. I can identify as a woman and dress like a man. Because the expression is different. How many women do you see wear suits or pants? Stuff that's man stuff. How
more
many?
Common.
Yeah. And there's men that dress in what's designated as women's stuff. And all you have to do is be prepared for the consequence. You may have questions. You may have judgments. But if you're secure with it, it doesn't bother you. I don't care if someone comes up to me and goes, oh, are you queer? Are you trans? Yep. Okay, cool. So there's some stuff that I'm going to put up with this podcast that is the gingerbread person, and it talks about all those different things. And I'm also going to put up yin and yang, because all you have to do to figure out if you hold the qualities of femininity or masculinity is look at that list and go, which one am I manifesting today? And if you're questioning that every day, you should probably take a look at which role you would be happy in. Because it ultimately comes down to how you're happy. It doesn't matter why you're the way you are. The fact is you exist that way for a reason. So use it. Why the hell wouldn't you? Why keep it a secret, and why hold your potential to give to others? Because your life is a gift. Every single one of y'all, your life is a gift. Because if it was not a gift, it wouldn't have been given to you. Because guess what? You didn't pay for it. You didn't earn it. Right? It was given to you free of charge. Gifts are free. That means what? That all you have to do is exist. Exist with those expectations that you're a gift. So you got to honor the gift, don't you? You wouldn't take a gift and throw it in the trash, because you have to appreciate the giver. If you don't appreciate your life, you don't appreciate the universe and or God, because you're his gift. Or its gift. I say Mother Nature's gift.
Makes sense.
So that's it. If you have questions, hit me up. And next week, it's going to be twice as exciting. I'm not going to tell you why. That's just all I'm going to say. Twice as exciting next week.
2 F-bombs?
Ha! You did have an F-bomb. That was epic. Okay, guys. Take out!